hopefully you're not having mental breakdowns outside of wrestling, but it's a nice chance to sort of have that moment and do that in
I
the ring and in the promos.
I definitely I'll hold in all the breakdowns for the match just to make it authentic.
Welcome to another electrifying episode of the Commentary Booth live via satellite, where we peel back the curtain on your favorite wrestlers and their cinematic inspirations. I'm your host, Jam Yups, and today we're psyching ourselves up to chat with a petrifying guest whose group, the Voiceless, are former Wrestle Allegiance Rockhampton Tag Team Champions and have been terrifying people throughout North Queensland over the past year. Joining us live via satellite, none other than the Freak Nyxx.
Hello.
How's North Queensland at the moment? I imagine quite warm.
A little bit. It's kind of hot, but it's fine.
I was going to say, it's probably pretty normal for you. It's probably not all that strange. So thanks for joining me on the show today to chat about your favorite movies or TV shows and their influence on your wrestling career. Before we dive into that, how big a part of your life are movies and TV?
Oh, a huge part. It helps me relax, and it's definitely where I get a lot of my inspirations from for my characters in and out of the wrestling ring.
Characters out of the wrestling ring, do you do sort of acting and theatre and stuff like that as
I
well?
play D&D. I used to be a theatre kid, um, and I also write.
Okay, brilliant. Do you have like a favourite sort of writing style?
Angst.
So the big question for the day, what have you chosen as the movie or TV show that has had the biggest influence on the Freak Nyxx wrestling character?
League of Legends Arcane.
So I have heard of this show a lot. I have never sat down to watch it. When and how were you first introduced to Arcane, and why should somebody sit down and check this show out?
So basically, it started with TikTok, just seeing edits of it, and you're like, yeah, that seems like a good show. I got into it like straight away. I binged the first season within the first couple of nights. Um, it has like this dystopian feel, and it just was really fun, and I like the chaos.
Okay. Were you a League of Legends player before the series, or have you since played the game?
I have thought about playing it before I saw the series, and then after I was thinking about it again. Never played it because people have told me that it's not that great, and now I kind of just want to do it to spite them.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that if the game isn't all that great, how did this show end up being so special and so popular with a lot of people?
That's what I'd like to know. Even if I just play around, because I don't think it costs anything.
Given that you sort of play D&D, is that, do you think that's maybe why you connected with this, because of it's like kind of in a similar vein?
Probably not. I only just started playing D&D recently, but it has
Okay.
definitely influenced the way my character is in D&D.
Like, how has this show sort of captivated you and kept you captivated even today? Like, it's there is only 2 seasons, correct?
Yeah, I just watched the last season. I'm not happy. No spoilers, but I'm not happy. Just one character, just this one character's got me through it all, and that was Jinx.
Okay. What was it about Jinx that was sort of so captivating and so compelling?
Oh, the way she moves, it's very even for an animated show, none of them really look that animated, but the way she moves is very animated, and just it fascinates me. It keeps my attention. Mad ADHD.
So yeah, if the movement is what captivated her, is that something that you've now taken into the wrestling world, like influencing how you're moving in the ring?
I'm trying really hard to. I had a little bit of that before I really chose Jinx as a bigger inspiration. I only moved a little bit like that. I moved very creepily. I just didn't have the animated part with the jaggedness. But I'm definitely moving more into it now, especially after watching the way she moves and just the way she speaks or the way she acts.
And given that there are only 2 seasons, have you sort of watched multiple runs through of the show?
Maybe just a few times.
How many times have you watched the series?
Okay, so the first season I would say probably about 6 times. The second season I have seen twice because it hurts.
And the second season only just finished, correct? Like
Yeah.
last year?
Okay. Yeah,
So it's not. You had a bit more time to watch the first season
I
6 times.
did. Yeah, just 6 times. It's
There was a big gap in between. Is that sort of why you sort of watched that first season a couple of times?
I have like hyperfixations on shows, or like they become my special interest, and I'll just watch them over and over again without like a break. So I'll finish it and start it right back over again.
Given that you've watched that first season multiple times, is that the favorite season, or is it just because
Yeah,
it's had been around longer?
yeah. The second season again just hurt too much.
Do you have a favorite episode?
Oh, I don't know which episode it is, but essentially it is the episode with Jinx and her, I'm gonna say father figure, and they're just talking, and he just trusts her, and it shows, even though she's kind of lost the plot. And I don't know, it just, and then of course the mental breakdown after was amazing.
Given that you have been a part of the Voiceless tag team, is that sort of interaction something that you are sort of trying to play on a little bit as well?
It's funny you say that. Owen Drake, the leader of the Voiceless, is very much the father figure Silco to my Jinx. And I recently did a promo that's probably going up around the same time this is, about where it's essentially me mimicking the breakdown scene where essentially she's saying he thinks I'm weak. I'm gonna show him, and I do that based on Owen Drake.
Very nice. Is that sort of a fun part of wrestling to be able to go out and just like explore these really out there ideas and themes? Like, hopefully, you're not having mental breakdowns outside of wrestling, but it's a nice chance to sort of have that moment and do that in
I
the ring and in the promos.
I definitely like, I'll hold in all the breakdowns for the match just to make it authentic. But it's definitely amazing getting out there and getting to explore these ideas. I like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least I got to try it. It's just it's fun, and I like the creative side of me gets so excited every time I get to use my ideas, or like it gets the go ahead, and I'm like, yes, I came up with that.
And I guess it probably also allows you to sort of learn more about yourself too, in like how you're absorbing emotions and understanding them and coming to terms with different things happening in your life.
Definitely. War has been a place that will always be close to my heart. The people are amazing, and they've definitely helped me not only figure out the way I express my emotions and how I can do it in the ring, but Arcane has also helped with that in the sense of making it bigger, to like show so the crowd can see it.
Yeah, I think that's something I've spoken to with a few people. It's like, if you're not connecting with that person in the front row because you're not engaging enough and portraying and projecting enough, how are you going to connect with the person 10 rows back?
Exactly. That is something we talk about a lot, especially with our rookies. It's very much, you need to make everyone feel like they're a part of the show. And of course, I have like my friends, my family in the front row, and like that's easy for me. I can go up and just tell them and try and bite their fingers or whatever I do. But it's always, you got to figure out a way to connect to the people in the back. I can't like go out behind the barriers and bite them. I've got to figure out a different way, whether I'm screaming at them and I'm chucking a tandy and I'm just having a fun old time, or just give them a big old glare,
Yes, yes. Sometimes you don't even have to like make a noise or do anything. It could just be,
a look.
if you're in a manager role or something, just staring directly at one person for an uncomfortable amount of time.
that's how I started. I wore a balaclava, so that means I had to be very expressive with my body movement, which really helped with my character later on. But I would go around and I would look at people and I'd laugh at them and I'd just full stare at them for like a good couple minutes. And at least until they look at me and I'm just
Yeah, just keep staring at someone until they break and they look away, and then you go, okay, now I've achieved it. I can move on to the next person now.
I've made kids scream. Like I can be scary if I need to be. Just run up and scream and they like go best part of
That's
my
always,
job.
I guess, that's always the fun part with the like the all ages show too. Like kids don't hide reactions or try and play it cool. If something freaks them out, it freaks them out.
Oh, you used my name. Yeah. Especially when their parents react to like, oh, how dare you scare my kid? I'm like, thank you. You just gave me all the heat I need.
That's exactly what I was trying to do. Thanks.
Thank you.
Are you a trading card collector or a fan of Australian pro wrestling? If so, you're not going to want to miss out on the limited edition Australian wrestling cards. Each set includes 50 packs of 10 cards, including some of the country's top wrestling talents like Robbie Eagles, Shane Haste, Madison Eagles, Hartley Jackson, and they have Shaza McKenzie listed, although she is not a favorite. The velocities, and a lot more. There's wrestlers, referees, announcers, commentators that are featured, giving you a full appreciation of the Australian independent scene. The cards sold out a lot faster because cards are hot right now, as I'm sure Jeremy Lambert will tell you. But you can order your Australian wrestling cards now at Pario Magazine. That's PARIO magazine.com.au/AUS WRES cards. Follow Australian Wrestling Cards on social media at AusResCards for updates. Join the hundreds of fans who have already discovered the excitement of Australian wrestling cards.
You mentioned that the second season was painful and hurt you because of the conclusion. It sounds like you weren't like overly satisfied with how this series ended.
No, I was not happy. It was just a sad season. The whole season, not even just the ending. The ending killed me, but the whole season was sad. And I'm like, cool. Well, this is how my character's going to end, exactly in that way. It has to happen now.
Mhm.
You'll understand when you finally sit down and watch
Is
Arcane.
it is it a satisfying conclusion though? Like does it leave anything open where you just like, I wish we had more of this just to conclude this story properly?
Apparently, like, this is just rumors. Apparently, it's not over. But the way it ended, it could be over. Like, it makes sense for it to be over. But the people who don't want to just like, no, it can't be, like picking out all the little details. Arcane is amazing for the details. But it's like you don't know if they if what happened at the end isn't actually true, thank God. I would be happy. I would be satisfied. But it is a satisfactory answer. Like ending. It's sad, but it works.
Okay, well that's a good thing because like Netflix are known for just cutting shows
Or canceling
after
them.
after one or two seasons, and you're like, story wasn't finished. What's going on here?
I have beef with Netflix over that.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too. Mindhunter is my biggest gripe with them. They just cut that show just as it was starting to like really get into the really cool
Which one was it?
Serial killers and stuff. Mindhunter.
Oh yeah.
So it's about like the establishment of the FBI serial killer unit, and like they're interviewing all of the like real life famous serial killers, but like with actors portraying them, and you get to like some of the really well known character like people that everybody knows about,
Yeah.
and then the season they cancelled the show. It's like, oh my gosh, we were just about to get to like Ted Bundy and stuff like that, and not happening anymore.
They're so fascinating. Like, I shouldn't say that. My character is probably a bit of a serial killer, but like they're just the way it's just finding out what's going on inside their brain. Like you can get a lot of inspiration from that. I want to see a Ted Bundy character.
Yeah, it's like just why is their brain so different to ours, basically?
And in reality, they're not. They're not that different. It's just something happened.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
sad and scary.
You've mentioned that the Freak Nyxx is inspired by Jinx, and that you have the father figure as well. Who else from Wrestling Allegiance Rockhampton, or even wider in Australian wrestling, do you feel could fit into the Arcane universe?
Oh, here we go. Okay. Let me think of the characters. So Silco is obviously Owen Drake. That's easy. Savika, I think that's how you pronounce her name, is Marston Holmes. They have like this little rough bond thing going on, but they look out for each other. But that's more in the second season. But that's Marston Holmes. Jinx, it's hard because Jinx doesn't really have anyone that they completely hate except Vi's partner Caitlyn, and that's purely because that she's essentially a police officer. Vi, Jinx's sister, or well, Powder, Jinx's other version, sister, probably Jason. But that's later season where they kind of just like, they're not exactly close, but like they look out for each other. I don't know. It's bits and pieces that kind of just work for each person that I've conversated with. I've been near. They have their own roles, but doesn't necessarily fit into the Arcane unless it's from certain episodes or certain seasons, and that's just my brain will go into overdrive and be like this exact moment.
And I think that's probably what makes for good characters too. They shouldn't just be, oh, your wrestling character is clearly this person. It should be an amalgamation of multiple inspirations.
Well, my character originally, when I pitched it. I pitched what I wanted my character to be, just some sort of mental case gremlin thing. And they pitched when I was told that we were going to be in the Voiceless that essentially I'm Harley Quinn. That is my character. That is my side, and that's why the pigtails came in, and the color. Except I prefer purple and actually red instead of pink. And Jason was the Joker. I do what he says, and that's just how it worked. I'm like, okay, awesome. And over time, my character just became my own and a different version of what they wanted. Yes, very, very Harley Quinn coded. I get called Timu Harley Quinn in Townsville, which is funny. I make all my gear, so that's just mean.
I can see that in terms of like the promo photos and stuff. It's very Harley Quinn inspired, but I like that you've sort of twisted it a bit and made it your own as well.
The ha ha ha's are definitely from Harley Quinn, and then I saw Logan Pierce was going for a similar thing. I'm like, I had them first.
Yeah, we've had Logan Pierce on the show, so
Oh
we've just created
yeah,
a live via
I saw
satellite
that.
rivalry.
Yeah, that he's the guy. That's my rival right there. We have no storylines and never wrestled each other, but
Hey, both in Queensland wrestling, there's an opportunity there for someone to book that and make a fun storyline out of it.
the Harley Quinn slash Jinx character versus the Joker character. I think that's some amazing booking right there. Book it.
So then the other question is like sort of where else do you take inspiration from? Like obviously you've mentioned sort of Harley Quinn and how you've then twisted it to make it your own. Have you pulled from anywhere else, any other forms of media like movies, TV shows and stuff like that?
Nimona. It's a kids show. It's meant to be a kids movie, but it's kind of gets dark. But the way they're kind of like, oh, like hee hee, until you call them a certain name, or like you hurt them, and it's like they change. It's the characters that just have that instant change. Because Freak is very playful. They will essentially play with their food. Do something. You hurt someone they care about. You hurt Owen. You hurt Marston. There's that switch. It's no more playing. You're done.
I guess that's always a fun part of the character to act out to go out having fun and then all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, vicious.
The face drop. Just the Yeah, it's I do get a little bit of my character thing from Joker as well. So it's not just the female characters, because my character is not really female. They're female presenting, but they are more of like a thing and an it. So my character just steal little bits from all these crazy characters, the ones that are deemed as crazy by society.
Back to our serial killer chat as well.
Yeah, it's like my character originally came out in a straight jacket.
Okay, yeah, great. So obviously wrestling for Wrestling Allegiance Rockhampton, far north Queensland, has that been challenging as well in terms of sort of getting yourself out there as well?
This is a bit of a humble brag. I don't mean to. It's just how it ended up. I only debuted in January last year.
Of 24. Yep.
Yeah. And I think my second or third match was in Cairns, or and then another one in Venom or Brisbane, the show after. And eventually I went to Townsville. I've been to this many places in such a short amount of time, and it's an amazing opportunity. And I just feel like it makes me feel like I am actually good at what I do. Of course, everyone has that little bit of anxiety, but I feel like I'm capable of it a lot more than I did when I first started. Because I wasn't a wrestling fan as a kid. I literally only just got into wrestling when I found QWAR, which is what War used to be, and it brought me into wrestling, and it was just crazy. Like, I only joined War because of my drama teacher.
Okay. It's an interesting sort of way to get into wrestling, but I guess it also shows like the importance of local independent wrestling, not just, oh, there's a company in Brisbane, but there's one here in my town that I can go and watch. And then that's how, because I think personally, wrestling is best absorbed live and in person. TV's fine, but being in the building is always such a different experience.
I struggle watching wrestling on TVs. I can't interact with it. How are they going to connect with me? When I joined, or when I was was watching War as a fan, I recorded for them first, but as a fan, they would they knew me, so they would like always pick on me, and I'm like, oh my god, ah! And it's just that interaction that draws me in every time. It's like, okay, I'm watching you. I don't like you.
And I imagine that's sort of something that has carried through into your performance as well. Like you understand how that interaction with someone can impact the audience member.
I love to. This is mean, but I love picking on kids. They're a lot easier to scare, and parents just call me mean words, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna even listen to you. This is a PG show. I'm gonna go annoy your kid now.
Yeah, like you bring your kid to a wrestling show, the bad guys are gonna pick on them.
Mm-hmm. If I make a kid cry, I'll leave them alone. But like, they gotta get to that point first. It's like, oh, my job is done.
So as we close out the episode, what has been the best piece of advice you've been given as well in terms of incorporating character and character inspiration?
You times 10. Make the character you times 10. So essentially be you, but make it bigger, make it louder, make it more expressive.
Yeah, that works well because it allows you to improv too. You're not thinking, oh, okay, what would this character do? Then, okay, that's how I'll do it. And by the time you get to that point, you've missed the moment. Whereas if it's just you just react, and that's what comes out.
I've had some little moments where I've gone in the middle of a match, I've just made a face that wasn't very my character because I was like, what the hell just happened? I've broken, and I've just gone, uh-oh. Yeah, it's be you. Be your character, but also be you. Have bits of your character seep into that, or bits of your personality seep into it. It makes everything so much easier.
And so much more believable and realistic too. people aren't going to see through it as much if it is authentically you.
No, exactly. Plus, then they'll believe all the things you pull out, like voodoo dolls. I've got mine over there somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you around the country. But where is the best place for people to track you and support the wrestling journey moving forward as the year rolls on?
My Instagram. I am active on that as hell, except with my posting of my pictures. But yeah, send me a message.
What's the Instagram handle so we can let everybody know?
Underscore the dot freak dot war underscore.
Right, perfect. I'll put the links and everything as well. But thank you so much for taking the time, and I will go and check out Arcane so that you don't come and terrify me in my dreams.
That's good. I'm very proud.
Thank you, everyone else, for listening to the commentary booth live via satellite. If you enjoyed this show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow me on social media at Jamyaps Media and at Pario Magazine. Again, the Freak Nyxx, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course. Have a good one.